Hi friends, hope you are all doing well and you are having a bright sunny day. Now today I am going to discuss a topic of importance to research students, PhD students and researchers in general, and that short papers versus long papers. Now you know that papers are very important for communicating any findings you have made in your research work, whether it's in the sciences or any other domain. Now essentially science or scholarship progresses by people writing papers, submitting them to conferences or journals, and these being peer reviewed and then getting published. Now we see that generally there is a proclivity towards saying that long papers are better than short papers, but I will say that may not be true as times are changing. Now let's define both these concepts. I would say that if a paper is 1 to 4 pages, then you can call it a short paper. Sometimes it's called a technical note, sometimes it's called a letter, and so on. Letters may be even smaller, they may be just 1 to 2 pages. So these are essentially short papers, and if you see many fields in the sciences, they have a tradition of letters and short papers, where essentially you give a very small introduction, some relevant references, and then you present your main findings in the field. Now in many fields there are also long papers. Long papers may be 5 to 12 to 25, 50 pages and so on. Now essentially very long papers typically tend to be review papers, so we'll leave that out of the discussion today. I would say something like 12 to 15 pages would be a normal sized paper in many journals. Now of course many people may wish to write long papers, but what's been happening to people over the last decade is that the attention span which they have is shrinking, and you will see that because today people have difficulty in even watching a 10-minute video or a 20-minute video. Certainly they would like to have the information given to them in bite-sized segments, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, something like that. So essentially similarly, people's capacity to read a 15-page or a 25-page paper has diminished, and sometimes if you publish a very long paper with a lot of findings, it may not get the visibility. It may be better to actually split this work into a series of short papers, so those are more easy to digest. So what I would suggest is that go for shorter papers if you can, and go for letter type of papers if you can. And this is very important to get into gradually, because there may be a culture in your field. Maybe you are in a field where the introductions need to be very long, where each paper must have a large number of references, maybe 20 to 50 references and so on, and it's not easy to change this kind of field. So of course it is field dependent, but within the same field also there may be journals out there which accept shorter papers, and you should try to probably go for those journals as far as you can. Now of course there is a room for writing long papers and doing thorough literature surveys, and you can leave it to some scholars in the field who are expert in these areas. So there are some people who are very good in writing introductions and in doing a good review of the field, and maybe you can cite some of these papers and you can write a short paper yourself and then send it to a journal and get it published, because this will certainly help the case of growth in science and technology, because there are a lot of people who can do good research, do good mathematics, do good experiments, but they may not have the capability at this stage of their life to write profuse literature surveys in front of all this matter. So it's better that if they write a short introduction and they spend most of their time in writing a good results and discussion and method section and conclusion section. So that was my take about long paper versus short paper, and if you have any comments on this, please give your comments below on my channel, and also please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I will see you soon in a new video.